Matcha is becoming a very popular beverage around the world, but there is a very specific way to prepare it. In this video, we're going to talk about the proper method to prepare a bowl of matcha. We'll also discuss how to make hot and cold matcha lattes. Originally, matcha tea was consumed without milk or sugar. Powdered tea was actually the original way that tea was consumed in early Japan. It soon became popularized due to its use in the Japanese tea ceremony, a ritualized tea preparation designed to promote a strong bond between the host and their guest. When we prepare a bowl of high-quality matcha, we follow many of the steps used in the tea ceremony. Before you make a bowl of matcha, you will want to soak the tea whisk. The chasen is made out of a single piece of bamboo, and the fine bristles can become extremely fragile, especially when they are dry. You can prepare this by soaking it in warm water or also just by moving it around in the water slowly. This will make the bristles more pliable. When you're making a bowl of matcha, you will want to preheat the tea bowl by pouring in some warm water. A cold tea bowl, particularly a heavier clay bowl like this chawan, will cool off the tea very quickly, so you'll actually want to start with a warm bowl so the tea inside it can stay warmer for longer. Unlike with leaf tea, matcha tea doesn't need to steep, so there's no need to worry about brewing time. The tea is stronger in flavor because you're drinking the entire leaf, not just an infusion. Because of this, instead of using 5 grams like you would with a leaf tea, you can start out with 1 to 2 grams of powder. This is roughly 1 teaspoon of matcha powder. We recommend sifting the matcha powder into a bowl before you use it. Matcha is extremely sensitive to humidity and it will begin to form clumps as soon as you open it up. To remove these clumps, you'll want to measure out your 2 grams of matcha powder and then try and push it through the strainer into the bowl. This will allow the matcha powder to mix evenly into the water and make the drinking experience much more pleasant. You should use 100 milliliters of water for a bowl of matcha. The temperature does not matter quite as much when it comes to matcha because you're drinking the entire leaf rather than just extracting some of it. We recommend a temperature between 160 and 175 degrees Fahrenheit. If the tea is too hot, it can show a little bit more of astringency, and if it's too cold, it actually won't mix as well into the water. If you keep the water temperature in this range, you should be able to make a nice tasting matcha with a beautiful foam. When whisking a matcha, you can first begin by scraping off the sides of the tea bowl to make sure that all the matcha is able to mix in. You can then move the chasen gently through the water in a zigzag motion to mix the powder into the water. You should be careful not to drag the tea whisk on the bottom, but rather keep it more towards the surface of the tea. You can switch to faster zigzag motions with your wrist and the tea will begin to form this beautiful foam. The foam on a matcha is very important when it comes to the flavor. These small bubbles aerate the tea, giving it a smoother taste and a creamier texture. This is how you get your matcha to taste almost like a latte, but without the cream or sugar. Once you're done preparing the matcha, you can just drink it out of the bowl. During the tea ceremony, you drink the matcha out of your own chawan or you share it with a guest. To make a warm matcha latte, you can first start by getting 150 milliliters of coconut milk or soy milk in a glass and heating it up in the microwave. Then you can whisk up 30 milliliters of matcha using 2 grams of powder and 175 degrees water. You can then go ahead and pour the matcha into the warm milk and stir it up. If you want to make a cold matcha latte, we recommend you actually make matcha ice cubes. While regular ice cubes tend to melt and dilute the flavor of the tea, the matcha ice cubes will actually make the flavor even stronger as they melt. You can make up some matcha, pour it into the ice tray, and freeze it overnight to make these. Then you can add a few of these matcha ice cubes to your glass, pour in 150 milliliters of cold coconut milk, and then pour in the 30 milliliters of matcha on top. Once you have all these ingredients in, you can stir it up and enjoy your tea. When it comes to matcha lattes, you will want to use a more inexpensive latte grade matcha, but when you're drinking the tea plain, you should go for a ceremonial grade matcha. Ceremonial grade matcha is naturally smooth, so it should taste good even if you're drinking it plain. I hope you have all found this video helpful. After watching this, you should be able to make great matcha bowls and matcha lattes at home. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you next time.